Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. I'm going to do a reading today. I've never done a reading on Brian Coburg for the Idaho 4. Um, it was just yesterday that I saw a load of thumbnails that said new DNA or DNA found and um, something about the defense. And then I saw, early this morning, I saw Judge Strike's defense. It was the lawyer's channel and it was just on my feed. And I was going to click on it, but what I'm gathering is that they found DNA at the crime scene, which is probably the house. Now, what's going to be helpful is all of you that follow the case, because I haven't. I do understand it's a house. They were college students. There's 4 of them, obviously Idaho 4. I'm not sure if it was a double-story house. When I seen it, like, I think about a year ago, because I was thinking to do a read when I was channeling his energy. It's not like a bungalow or a flat story, or it's not like a bungalow or just a one-story house, basically. I presume that they would have had, parties there. A lot of people came in and out, boyfriends, exes, whatever. And so I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly deterred or surprised at this. It depends, obviously, who's the DNA. This is similar to the Richard Allen case where, that DNA of the hair was brought up. And before it all came out, I said, this is not going to do anything for the case. It's going to be someone's relative or something like that. And what I'm going to do in this reading, I'm going to prod a bit without even knowing what that DNA is about that they found. Or is it one DNA? Have they found it on the crime? I don't know if they've got the crime weapon, which I'm presuming was not a pew pew. It's more of a blunt force. And can something be planted? So I'm just going to pull cards and go along and then look at, like I did with the Richard Allen case and a couple of other cases, what's the prosecution feeling this time and what is the defense gathering at this time. I already was getting like the defense is like, yeah, baby, there's no gag order on us, let's just cause all this doubt. And I really feel that that's what they're going to be playing on. I don't know if they've said who's DNA for or if they haven't. So we'll go along with some questions. Obviously, your comments going to be helpful. Yesterday on YouTube released was February's predictions, but there's also further than February. Otherwise, I wouldn't have released it if it's just for the month of February. So there could be so they must have found this DNA prior, but it's only just got out in the open. I don't know if anyone's living in that house or something, but I feel it like dead energy. I don't feel there is energy there. There isn't a living there. And the other thing that I know is I think a few months ago, wasn't there a girl who said she used to live there and moved out a few months prior to this? I think I'd seen a 2-minute, or she didn't really say much, I don't think. But that's what else I know. I feel like this guy, Brian, is the type of guy that would be very much, do you know the type of person who invades your personal space, especially if you're a female? And I'm not just meaning that in a pervy way, but there's a very unsettling energy. But around men, he would be a bit more like what you would feel is normal. Again, I don't know enough around background around him. I'm just being reminded by spirit. I also know that I think it was last year, it just popped on my feed again. They showed me where I think he was driving with his dad in a white car, and the cops pulled him over for speeding, if that's the right thing. Other than that, I don't really know anything else, but we're just going to focus on this and any other questions. So my question is all the DNA related to Brian? Or, yeah, I've said Brian, so I'm not going to say the Exa. I've said Brian in the question, I have to stick to that. You know how pedantical I am in terms of my questions. Or is there other DNA, okay, related to the crime and whatever else Spirit wants to show us? So here, this kind of looks to me as if, I don't know why I get that this is showing me that the house is like derelict. I won't be surprised if it's demolished, but it's also telling me there's still a healing ongoing in terms of the victim, and also around that land, even if the house is still there. Like I said, I don't get an energy, and look, that is just giving me the same kind of energy, right? We get meetings, so definitely there's other people's DNA that will be there, because there's a lot of people that would come in and out, exactly what I said. So I wasn't surprised at that. There's something about life insurance here. Does anyone know what this could relate to? I think also this could mean that there could be family members' DNA that could have visited. But there is something about that life insurance. So I wonder, at the bottom of the deck, we've got mind control. Now, this to me goes back to the question I was asking, could there have been a planted DNA on purpose, or transferred DNA? And I think the transferred is more likely, although I would not post planted beyond this person's intelligence or capability. The way I was challenging him, he was very fast at this, and I could see whether it's him or not, I'm not going to go into that right now. I could see, and I do want a reading, because I want to see if I do get him in the channeling and only him or not, as opposed to just going with, he is the person that's up, so we just stick to that kind of thing. So disconnecting from ego and knowledge and seeing what I get. But I see a wolf that, you know, when you breathe in the cold air outside, you get the thing. So a panting kind of thing. So I feel like it was very fast. And so mind control could be also the way, like, I feel he's very much, two messages here. I think he felt he reads into people's minds and next actions, and this is how he decided or ran to take things further, his next steps. But also mind control around the DNA, any transferred DNA, but also I'm getting mind control, getting that diversion and doubt that the defense are trying to create. Okay. Now, as I was going to clarify life insurance, I did get this pop out, but I didn't quite ask the question. The intention was they run away. So the killers definitely ran away. Okay. This could mean, you know, they could be running from the, you know, their life now is either, I don't know if in that jurisdiction, but they ran away from the crime scene. Okay, so the panting wolf, I saw there was a lot of running. It just ran away, right? Escaped at fast movement. But here, I'm not sure if it's a state that has the DEATH penalty, and there's something around that, because I get justice with that as well. So the life insurance and justice is very important in some way. We need to remember how that's going to come up. I was going to clarify with tarot, but I'm going to leave it like that. So now, yeah, I think there's a possibility of the positioning of the DNA. Let's do something. Spirit really wanted this deck, and I was like, I've got enough decks out already that I've been using. And I was told no to get this one. So I think there's going to be the positioning of the DNA found. But there's also something about the time or place of the DNA. Like, was there any other sign that the Exa passed through this way? Like, for example, an entrance on the outside, or, you know, if it's a double story or there's a basement, was there any other evidence that the Exa had gone from one level to another? I think that's going to be very important, tying in with time in this. I do think that there could have been some transferred DNA. Let's just see what the prosecution's trying. Just more cards on this whole thing from the defense, whatever we need to know. Getting told for this question to use this deck and the crime deck. Do we need to know? Yeah, I don't know why some of these are like without the... I've got the Knight of Cups and the Six of Swords. I really feel like the defense want to get the prosecution to bite some bait, but the prosecution seems to be just like going in their direction and not biting the bait. There is a risk here that the prosecution leaves two open doors for the defense to cling to. So I would say there's two DNAs. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, or there's another one to be found. But I also think there's going to be either something very important about a female's DNA there that's not going to be important to the killing, to the Xing, but will come up at some stage. It's not necessarily going to be, it's not going to be relevant to catching or matching that to the Exa. But that female also, if that's not what comes up, a female, what they've said or stated is going to be very important, and what they state needs to match whatever they've stated to the investigators. I don't know who this could be. Did they have another roommate? Did someone sleep over? I don't know if there was more people in that house that survived. I thought it was just the two girls and then a girl and her boyfriend, if I'm not mistaken. But definitely, can they get the prosecution to bite the bait? And I feel it's, yeah, look, everything's shown me to bite the bait, to take the bait. And then it's to kind of like, and the bait is not that significant, right? And then it's for them to open, by taking the bait and talking on it, it opens up more doubt in the defense's favor. The defense, like I said, what I was getting is, yeah, let's say baby, but it was BITCH. We've not got a gag. We're going to play on this, cause complete outroar on whatever we can plant outside before the trial happens. This is our biggest opportunity. I don't feel like, I'm going to get to cards on them, but I don't feel like they've got a very highly intelligent strategy. I feel like it's causing commotion, causing a public outcry, and taking it step by step. Like, can they bite the bullet? They might have a flow chart of, will they bite this bait? If they will, this, if not, like that. But it's not like something that needs a highly, what can I say, strategic lawyer, if I can say. So I think that's what they're doing. Now, at the bottom of the deck, something's telling me that there was something outside. And could that be a DNA that they're talking about as well? Again, I think this is gonna, what they need to see about that. We've got snow here. When was this Xing done? We've got snow here. So, and you can see that there's footprints. So basically, what time was it? And by when was it found? Like in the Karen Reed case about the snow, right? And how long he would have been there to have all that snow, or pass away from pneumonia, like how high the snow would be. So something about the weather, something about the timing, something about something being outside as well. And that's just popped up for me. Look, and that's similar outside, but it's kind of like a warmer temperature. So I wonder if something was missed to a bit of a later date, where they couldn't, where's that 9 gone? I don't know where I've gone. They couldn't match, or they still can't match the DNA to someone in particularly, but they could match the DNA quicker to the current defense person. And so that was their focus. And something else was coming through, but do you know when you're channeling, but then something like of your normal day-to-day comes in, and for some reason I've got a very sharp pain in my stomach, makes me want to puke. Now, this thing outside, could it have been purposely dropped, or is it mistakenly dropped? And is it like a winter glove? Is it like a glove that tries to shield DNA inside the glove? Like, let's say there's a glove that has, and I don't know why I just picked up on a glove. I've just realized that. Well, let's continue with a glove. I don't know how that brought it out. Say it's got someone's DNA on the top. The most obvious would be blood in this case, or inside. And if it's inside, does this mean the person put on a glove after they did it and they were running and a glove fell off? Or is it a medical glove and there's blood on the outside? On the inside, they can take skin analysis and fingerprints to match it to someone. Will it be the same as the blood on the outside? So there's a lot of questions, and if not, what is it that was left? Sorry, sometimes energy can flow through me. But that is something that I'm getting there about a DNA. I do think that there's DNA in the house, and it's more than one other. So if they've said that there's only the outside or there's only one inside, there's more. And like I said, it's because of what I said in the beginning. That meeting card shows it. How are they gonna separate the significance? They're gonna have to match the DNA. What's good about this though, I think they're gonna get quite a bit of DNA that they can't profile. It sounds like this DNA they can profile, so they probably can match it to a male or a female. I guess if it's a male, they're not releasing if it's a Brian. I think I might do a further reading on this. But yeah, this woman and the statement or some DNA, but the DNA is not going to attach her to being the exa. It's just like she's been there. There's DNA of her there, whether it gets picked up on. But there's also something a female has said and her statement that needs to be exactly the same so that it doesn't cause doubt. Now, the problem with that is so many years ago, I don't know what year it is, but I know this is dragged on, and it's going to trial this year, isn't it? And it's traumatic. So it's easy that she could not have thought. I mean, you're not going to wait, I don't know how many years. Is it 5 years? 7 years? I've got King of Pentacles here. That was just lying there. But that's because I didn't pick it up with the cards. I don't feel it's relevant. I definitely think the defense are trying to get the word out. They're glad there's no gag order, which the prosecution is probably not happy about. Let's get cards on the defense. The defense's strategy, or what are they doing? So we've got the Six of Pentacles, okay. And I get with this is give as much as you get. They're trying to balance as much information that they give out. At the same time, they're trying to disregard some information as if it's not relevant, okay? Here we've got the Five of Wands. And I think the Five of Wands in this is, and we've got the Four. Yeah, there's a fifth person that they're going to try and hold on to something they say. A fifth person. I know four can't say anything, but there's a fifth person that they're going to try and hold on to what this fifth person says, and a lot is going to be tried to be disregarded, especially about one of them, one of the four. Okay. And one of the four, especially, he had a grudge against. I won't be surprised if the defense either tries to pay experts, which a lot of them do, to testify on their behalf. Like, you know how each side has usually an expert, and there'll be a psychologist and a psychologist, but sometimes they have different views. I think the defense are trying to do this, but at the same time, I do feel like the defense are going to try, and I get this without it showing me in the cards, try and call injustices or corruption of like contamination of the police, LE, etc. I think they're going to try and play on that, and every single possibility they can, a public outcry to get a mistrial, and as much as possible make it even harder for jurors not to know the full story. And the full story is actually what they want them to hear now by creating additional doubt, which might not be the full story. And I know you're going to say jurors go in and they're not supposed to know anything, but you're not telling me that every single juror that's been on a court case has never known anything about that case. They want people to deter from the evidence, and they will do that in any way possible. By the way, is his lawyer a female? I don't know why I get a female energy, which would be strange. I mean, the defense only need to create doubt anyway. I don't know what defense's story is going to be. Like, someone else was the evil person here. There's definitely something about the time and place that they're trying to pin Brian not being there, okay? That he was somewhere else and not on that particular road. And there's something about a car accident here, or an accident that, I don't know why Spirit is saying waiting to happen. So something about an accident that was waiting to happen in this case. But these are the things that I'm getting for the defense's side. Are they confident? I feel the prosecution is confident, by the way, but I hope they don't. Do you know when you can get too confident and then you just miss little things that will just add on? Because honestly, did anyone see that trial with that? He's 17 years old, that a year earlier had exed his dad, and then he exed his mom, and he's not guilty. I forgot his name. It's just recently. So it can go any way, and I hope they don't do that. Like, I'm saying this because the downloads that I get. They do want to cause confusion around someone who, so they might say someone very evil, but I feel like they also want to cause confusion around a young male. There's the confusion. where you don't know where to look, but some of these cups are going to trap you and they're not the truth. The defense are not necessarily feeling dead confident, but they are portraying that they are confident. This is them feeling we're going to win this, but not quite, right? There is the doubt on the final outcome. And I think this might also be about trying to get a lighter sentence, which they are not able to or won't be able to. They feel like that is going to be the most difficult thing right now. Obviously, if you enjoy this, we can do check-ins as we go along. And I might be totally off par here, and I'm not going to say I'm going to look things up, but if we're interested in this case to do more readings, I can look some things up just in case I'm totally off par. But I mean, a lot of it is channeling, and a lot of it we have to see if it comes through. Let's look at the prosecution. I keep looking down to one side because either I'm channeling, but here is because I've got my questions. Okay. Told by Spirit to look at this card. Oh, it's the devil again. Okay. What is it? The devil, something about the devil is hidden. Is hiding behind closed doors, but it's obvious. Okay. How are the prosecution feeling? Let's start with if they're feeling confident, how are they feeling? It's interesting, I've got a glove there, and you know I blurted out a glove. They really feel like, so maybe this glove has Brian's DNA on it, or one of the victims' DNA on it. They're very confident that they've got the person who did this. They are confident in doing that, but they're not overconfident. The reason I say that is because I asked for a certain major arcana, and there's confidence here that they've got the right person. There is the confidence here that they've got the right person. There is something about money though. There's something about money of a man. Let's put these back then. Oh no, let's keep them out. So what's their strategy? Their strategy is to hold back. Hold back and keep a few things behind the scenes where you don't know. Even hold back, but show compassion to the victims when the defense is trying to show that their hands is tied and the prosecution has no grounds, or, you know, look, we found this DNA in the prosecution. Oh, look at them, they're silent, they've got nothing to say because we've tied them. So they're very much feeling like at this moment in time, they need to stay you know, contain themselves a little bit. At the same time, I feel like making sure they don't have empathy and emotion for whatever I'm going to say is Brian could be up for sentencing. And again, it could be the DEATH penalty, whether we believe in it or not. And I don't know if the state has it, but something here about not having compassion for that. You know, whatever the sentence is put forward, but they're also keeping a wraps on certain things, and they're not showing exactly how they're feeling. They're trying to prevent the additional doubt, okay? They're trying to prevent that additional doubt, and also for, I'm going to say audiences, but the public, not to have their emotions pulled upon by stuff that's causing doubt and that's hidden. I feel like there's certain things they don't really want out, but they are working on things. So you might think, oh, they're weak because no, they're working on, this is where I feel their strategy is more of a, I don't want to say mastermind strategy, but they've got their minds on it. I think they might be strong prosecutors as opposed to the defense, and I don't know, but there's something there where the defense doesn't really have to do anything. You know, it's the prosecution that has to work, make sure everything shows DNA evidence. And it's interesting I say that because it looks like, I feel like there's going to be significance of circumstantial evidence as well, like tracking him, the time, was he seen at a certain place, even if it wasn't there, but nearby at a certain time where he said he's somewhere else on a different road, for example. They're going to have to tie each knot together, whereas the defense, I feel, is like, we've got a flow chart of the way we're going to go about it, which is, I'm not saying is not an intelligent way, but, you know, like, it would be easy for us to understand, yes, no, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But with this one, it might be like a lot of documentation tying stuff in. I feel also there's something around a timeline and the created doubt, but, you know, confident that they have the right person. So they're not like, you know, some states are like, we've got to take this to court, but they're confident they've got the right person. And I feel like they also, with these cards, they want to keep looking in this straight and narrow line and not get deterred from whatever could be pulled out. And again, not exposing everything they have. Let's pull more cards from this. By the way, has there been testing on the DNA? Cards don't. It's going to show where he has been, right? So I dare say that did he go across a state or drove quite a bit? We got the road for the defense here. It's going to show his time and travel and trying to track him to certain places. I do feel like in some instances it's going to be a bit difficult. And then they're going to play on that it was to do with his interest, which could be one of them, a love interest in one of them, and then a load of lies that the defense is trying to put forward, and just lies, I feel, around trying to cover up that there was no emotive kind of side to this, emotive, like emotions or love. Okay. They're definitely, the prosecution, tightening up things with this, okay? Tightening up on something versus an alibi that's going to be put forward. And it could be to do with, like we saw, the road, the love heart, and the lies. So tightening up where a lie could be. The defense definitely want a public outcry, and I think they want a public trial, so that they can create that emotive doubt. So the DNA is going to relate to this person. The DNA is going to relate to either the exer or a victim. And the DNA, we don't know if it's been tested yet. They're not saying, apparently. Hope I'm right in that. I'm recording this on the, I think it's 21st my time. So you're talking about heading into the morning on the 21st for the US. But this to me says they've got enough DNA that was at the home or outside the home to map it to a male or female, and I get male here. But can you see in the background, I've got 3 people. So is this Brian and 2 other males? It seems like there's 3 significant DNAs. I don't know why I get also, I don't know if the crime weapon, remember I said I don't think it's a gun, maybe that's already out there. Blunt force trauma, there's DNA on that. I dare say that they can't, I don't know if they could find it or not. But to me, it seems like he did the Xing of 3, and after the 4th, he took it with him. There is going to be a question about a young male, though. You know, I'm getting that again. But the DNA really does point towards the killer. And this is the clickbait and the defense coming back up. If the blunt force thing was taken, if it is a blunt force, there's 2 elements here that the defense are not focusing on. That is a big downfall for them. They need to be careful of that. Could there be DNA on a, what do you call those? Some of you might laugh. Do you know on a blunt force thing, you know, when you're chopping like your steak, I'm not saying that that was used, I don't know what was used, or if you've got a pew pew, there's a cover, right? Or if it's like one of these, but it's a large one, there's usually a cover. What's that called, that word? Was that found? Was there anything, because there's something here about that needs to be known. I also think they were focused. I've got so many blunt force things here. I feel like they focused so much on it that they then matched it with the killer, but the DNA that they found afterwards could be argued contaminated, played with. That could be one of the elements that the defense are going to bring up. There's something about the focus on that as opposed to wherever this other DNA is. There's so much in this card that wants to be channeled. It's crazy. Told to split the deck. That's the prosecution. Tying things together. Definitely a glove is important here, whether we hear about it or not. So they've delayed looking at the DNA, other DNA. There's something definitely on a material-based thing. I get that. And we've got it here. But it's good that it's enough to narrow down to a male or a female. And I don't think this is going to solely rely on DNA. I really feel like there's a, you know, we got it in the, no, it won't only focus on DNA. In fact, there's things that could confuse it around a little bit of the DNA. And that could be, you know, because they had parties or whatever. But there is circumstantial things. There is something about a place and time, but each side has an argument to that place and time as well that could contradict. I do get something about the height of pinpointing the person is going to stand apart from the defense trying to cause doubt on another person. I mean, when I've seen a picture of Brian, he looks like he could be quite tall, right? So I think that is going to be something that's going to stand apart. If someone saw him or something, and the defense is trying to create doubt against other people, and one other person is a lot shorter, a lot kind of younger maybe, hair is lighter than Brian's, the height is also going to stand apart on something the defense is going to try and create that doubt. Let's pull some last cards. I don't know what question. It's interesting. Crime of passion at the bottom. Cover up. Clean up. Burial. I wonder if the burial is of something like the crime weapon or something that has evidence on it that the person's taken with them. It's a male, which we know, but that's 100% it's a male. Can you remember how I said that the devil is hiding, is hidden? And look at this, it's hidden. And I feel like this was him hiding. You know where I said like he's got that mind control of hiding? I feel like he could have been stalking. And he camouflages in his environment. This is what I meant by, you know, towards females there's like an unsettling feeling, invasive. Males, it's very different. And so, you know, I don't know why I got this early and I wanted to share it in a coaching thing. If you're a male, don't be this kind of male. There's a lot of males that abuse their significant other, their children, whoever, their family members. And outside, they are the nicest people to every single person, whether it's a CEO, whether it's a waiter, whatever it is. You would never think. You'd never think. And that's why the woman is usually in such circumstances. Okay, let's go back here. But I wonder if he's also, this person was outside in the garden hiding for quite some time. Look, accomplice, partner in crime. I feel like this could be someone who knows something, and that's why I said I want to do I could do a proper reading. There's definitely a hope of an affair here or something of love. Last 2 cards or 4 cards. I was going to say 2, but we'll take 4. Spirit is like saying go for regret. There's regret here. But I feel like this is someone who relates more to the victim. The grandparents relates to this. It could also be where in a park where one of the grandparents goes or something. There's something hidden there. There is missing evidence, and it looks like there's missing DNA. There's DNA on something that they don't have is missing. Last card, please, Spirit. Power supply. So maybe they need to head out towards a park or somewhere open land where it could be, I don't know why I'm getting conserved, where there's a tower line. But I'm also getting this tower line is going to be something that's going to pick up on him. But that picking up on him is actually going to be in the defensive favor on one of the places for some reason. I don't know if he claimed to be somewhere where, I don't know, it's surreal. His grandparents used to go. There's something there about that. So that's what I have for everyone. If you enjoyed this, please do let me know. I hope you did enjoy it. Take care and bye for now.